Ah, this poor Wooster. He thinks he's safe. He thinks I fired off my round and I'm done. He sank me, but oops. I just hit reload booster and got one more shot off and sank him. And so goes the Jean Bart. You are never safe against the Jean Bart. You can never turn out safely because you just don't know if that reload booster is waiting to be popped off. And that's the beauty of this absolutely fun Tier 9 battleship. I love battleships. I love fast battleships. I love battleships that are fun to play, and the Jean Bart is absolutely fun to play. So before I talk a little more about the Jean Bart, let's go over some of its stats. The Jean Bart has 69,000 hit points. That's a little less than the Alsace. It has 380mm guns. These are in that very oddball French quad turret setup, but I've become used to it. It's very similar to the Richelieu or the Dunkirk, or just insert any French battleship here. Secondaries aren't quite as good as the Alsace. On the setup of my ship right now with my 19-point captain, they're only at 6.3 kilometers. But you know what? I am fine with that. Absolutely fine. If this thing had Alsace ranged secondaries, it would borderline unfair. So I will take the hit on secondaries because of the main armament reload booster. AA defense on this ship is absolutely stout. On my setup right now, my AA defense is 100, and that's not taking any extra anti-aircraft boosters. No AA mods whatsoever. This ship has great AA. It's just another really good attribute about this ship. Maneuverability, 31.5 knots with your Sierra mics, turning radius of 850 meters, and a rudder shift time of 16 seconds. She's not the fastest ship in the world, but again, like French battleships and French cruisers, she does have that speed boost to her. Last but not least is her concealment, 12.3 kilometers. Jean Bart has engine boost. That adds 8% to your maximum speed, so a little bit of a modest boost right there. It does help you get out of some pretty sticky situations and power through turns just a little bit faster. Now the consumable that I want to talk about. Main battery reload booster. This is a new consumable to the game, and I have mixed feelings on it. On one hand, I think it's a little underhanded, a little unfair. But on the other hand, I feel that it makes this ship stand out, and it just makes it an absolute blast to play. What this does is when you pop this, the reload on your main batteries is decreased by half. That means with my current captain and its 22-second reload, once I pop this main battery reload booster, the reload on the main guns goes down to 11 seconds. That's right, you can fire off one salvo every 11 seconds. It's got an action time of 30 seconds, so that works out to 3 salvos in 30 seconds. This ship was built with one purpose only, to punish broadside ships. If you are in a cruiser or a battleship, do not go broadside to this thing. Just don't do it because it is going to absolutely tear you apart. Upgrades, let's touch on that real quick. Again, you've got your main battery modification 3. You definitely want to take that because that gets your main battery reloading time down to 22 seconds, which gets your reload booster down to 11 seconds. Of course, you got the other things like concealment. On my ship, I decided to take aiming systems mod 1 because the dispersion on this ship is a little bit wonky. It's very similar to the other French battleships, not as good as the Alsace. So you'll want to take that so your dispersion is just a little bit better. Outside of that and the stats, there's really not much else to talk to about this ship. I'm just going to give you my overall feeling of the Jean Bart and what I have felt in the first 10 rounds I've played in this ship, and it's a blast. It is an absolute blast. It is a refreshing ship to play. I don't think it needs any tweaks. I think it's good as it is. While the reload booster might seem a little unfair and you can pop that very often, it's not like this ship has the best armor in the world. It is a little squishy. On top of that, like I said, the guns aren't the best in the world. The dispersion on it's a little bit wonky, which kind of even things out a little bit. You do have a maximum firing range on this ship of 24.5 kilometers, but you'll be hard-pressed to hit anything at 24.5 kilometers. Really, to be able to hit ships with this ship, you're going to have to wait until they get into about 18 kilometers to reliably hit them with a fair amount of your shells. But once they get inside that wheelhouse, once they get inside your range, this is where the ship shines. And like I said, this ship was designed to punish players that like to go broadside against enemy ships. Once you pop that reload booster, once you pop that sucker, this thing just tears everything apart. And it's amplified if you're going up against a cruiser. No cruiser of any tier is safe against the Jean Bart. Battleships of any tier are not safe against the Jean Bart. I could just go on about this ship. It's been a while since I've played a ship and had so much fun in it right off the bat. It's just a lot of fun. I think it is well balanced. The guns are balanced by the fact that the dispersion's not the best on them, and the armor on the ship isn't the best as well. Sometimes you really find yourself in a position where you gotta kite in this thing and run away from ships, but the firing angles on the guns are decent enough. If you're a fan of French battleships, you're gonna like this ship. If you're a fan of battleships in general, you're probably gonna like this ship, just because it offers you something that you don't have in other battleships with that reload booster. Personally, I think it needs to be used sparingly. On the Jean Bart, I think it's cool because there's no other ship with this feature right now. But I don't want to see too many ships getting this. One, it would take away from the uniqueness, and two, if it winds its way onto the wrong ship, it will make a ship overpowered. I can't even imagine this thing on something like a Yamato or even a Montana. I think if you get to that point, yeah, then we might have issues. But it makes sense on the Jean Bart, because at its core, the Jean Bart is very similar to the Richelieu. Guys, keep in mind that this ship is indeed a work in progress. Everything on it is subject to change, but as it stands right now, I think this ship is good to go the way it is. It is a lot of fun to play. I don't know how we're going to get it in game. It's tier 9, so I have a feeling that it's going to be available for either coal or XP. Either one of those, though, it's definitely worth using the resources to get this ship if it remains the same, because this ship is just a lot of fun to play. And I think you all are going to enjoy it a lot. Anyhow, guys, this has been a first look at the Jean Bart. Those are my thoughts on it so far. I'll let you know if anything changes on it, but right now, it's just a blast to play. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. I am out.